So the problem we are currently experiencing, these little black things should be moving that big wood thing, and that ain't happening. Hey guys, welcome back. Well, we got a little problem here. I got a deck full of logs that need to be sawed, and I just lost all my hydraulics on the mill here, which sounds pretty bad, but truth be told, I actually know what the problem is. I actually expected this to happen from my past experience. I kind of saw it coming. So I have the part on hand. So I figured I'd video this because if you're a Woodmizer owner, I might have some tips here that would help you out. If you're not, there's just some general hydraulic stuff here that may be interesting to you. Maybe able to use it down the road for something. But if you think owning a sawmill is all fun and sunshine and roses, well, if you're not turning a wrench, you're not running a sawmill. It's all part of it. It's a common occurrence. No fault to Woodmizer. It's any brand. Sawmills take a beating and they all need maintenance. So this is just a routine thing. So I'm going to open this cover up. I know that's a 9/16 because I've done this 100 times. So I'll get this cover popped off and we'll take a look inside. Okay, so I got it opened up here. And if you're not familiar with how these Woodmizer sawmills work, it's an electric over hydraulic system. So what that means is it draws power from the battery, and we've got two electric pumps. Now this is an LT40 Super Hydraulic, so this actually has two pumps. Standard hydraulic would only have one, but the second pump just adds speed and power, so it just gives you some better performance. So the power comes in, runs the pumps. You have this valve bank here. These valves run all your different functions, and they're two-way, obviously two-way valves, standard hydraulics. But the way they operate is kind of unique, and this is a nice setup for the way these are designed to be portable and whatnot. You can see this little micro switch here. So when you hit these valves, they're linked to these little finger systems. It's gonna be hard for you to see with the camera there. But what that does, it clicks. And I have one, I might have fibbed a little bit. I have one spool here left that works. So if you can hear this, it clicks. It triggers that switch. That switch starts your electric pumps, and then obviously you're opening the valve at the same time, so that's what runs your hydraulics. So it's all simultaneous. So these hydraulics are dead. It's not like an engine driven system where they're constantly powered. The hydraulics sit here until you need them, and when you trigger this, it starts the pump and opens the valve to let fluid flow through. Now you can hear on this one, that's not working. Now, why I was so sure I knew what was wrong here, I've had these switches go bad before. It's not that uncommon. I think really what happens, the tip here that it compresses, I think over time that just wears out. And there's a little bit of adjustment here. You can move this up, and I've already done that. So my advice to you, if you're a Woodmizer owner, if you make that adjustment, just go ahead and order the switch because you're going to need it. It's not uncommon for these things to go bad. The nice thing about it, it's two screws, pop it out, put the new one in. You want to put it on there just so it's before the click, so otherwise the pump will run non-stop. So you get it dialed in, you tighten it down, rewire it, and you're all set. Another little tip, if you find yourself in a situation where that switch goes bad and you really need to saw something, you can disconnect this, wire in, take these wires and just wire in a toggle switch or whatever kind of switch you have, and you can manually turn that pump on and off. And when the pump's on, you can run your hydraulics and then just turn it off manually. It's kind of a pain. Ask me how I know that. I've had to do it because, like everybody else, oh yeah, I should order one of those switches. Out of sight, out of mind. Next thing you know, it's bad and you're stuck. So that's a workaround for that if you find yourself in a pinch. The other common problem a guy will find if your hydraulics stop working or if they're spotty, the contact strip on the side here, that this needs a good cleaning under here, but the contactor and the contact strip, sometimes this needs cleaning or adjustment. You'll hit dead spots in your hydraulics, but I am 99% sure this time it is this, because like I said, I've slowly been losing my hydraulics here. They've been hit or miss, and now it's time. I know they're completely off, so it's time to switch that out. And the other thing you can do, these fingers are adjustable, so it's possible if you lose one or two functions that, you know, maybe a finger needs to be adjusted, but in this case it's pretty much the whole thing. So I'm going to replace the switch. Okay, so if you were questioning my diagnosis, here's pretty much proof for you. This is the brand new one, and if the camera will focus on this, you can see how that button sticks way up and you can hear it click. And here's the old one, exact same thing, and you can see that is pretty much deflated. It doesn't even barely click. It's done for. So these things wear out over time. It's not a big deal. One thing that I found neat when I got the parts here, Woodmizer actually put in quick connects here. So what I decided to do, it's not that difficult, it's just two wires that you probably can't see in that mess of wires there. Power and a ground. Unbolt them, bolt in the new one. It has the ring terminals on the end here of the new switch. So that's not a big deal. But one thing I love about Woodmizer, they're always trying to improve their products. So they're always making additions to parts, even of their older stuff. You know, they make modifications, they take feedback, and they change things. So they're including these quick connects now. So what I'm going to do, instead of just wiring it, you know, with the bolts and the eyelets, I just cut the old wire off of that old one. I'm going to splice in these quick connects, and then I won't have to ever unbolt those wires. Next time I have to change this out, I will just put on the quick connects on the new switch, plug it right in. It's a 10-minute job to start with. It probably knocks it down to a 5-minute job. So it's just little things like that I personally love when I'm working on my own stuff. I just like when a manufacturer takes the time to really put some effort into their product. It just goes the extra mile. So I have no complaints with Woodmizer. This, I'm not blaming Woodmizer for this. It's just wear and tear. Anybody in the sawmill business knows it doesn't matter what color machine you're running. If you're running lumber, it is hard on stuff. So I'm going to get this back together and we'll see if it'll work. Okay, so the connections are made. Everything's tucked in there nice. So let's turn the key, see if this thing works. That's one nice thing about having an electric over hydraulic system. You can run it with the engine off and just the key on, as long as you know your battery's charged well. It makes it a lot easier to work on this kind of stuff. You don't have that engine revving in your face causing commotion, so you can actually hear what's going on. So anyway, if we look up there, let's see. Clamp goes up and down, in and out. Turner turns. Toe boards. Rotor arms. Everything works. Easy enough. This was an awfully specific video. I hope it helped somebody out there somewhere. If not specifically on a Woodmizer LT40, maybe just to get a better idea of how electric over hydraulics work. They're a pretty neat system. I can see why Woodmizer used them for this application. Some of their newer mills have direct drive engine pumps, which are really nice. But this is tried and true. It's really not that complicated. They're relatively simple to work on. And the one other thing I'll say about Woodmizer in particular, their customer service, if you do have a problem you can't figure out, is top notch. I know me personally, when somebody says customer service, you kind of, it's not a good experience. You just dread. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. You're going to talk to that one person that has no idea what you're talking about, and it's going to be miserable. That's not Woodmizer. Those guys they have in the parts and service department are top notch. They know these machines in and out, every nut and bolt of them. So if you do run into a problem that's a little bit more than meets the eye that you can't figure out, chances are they can walk you through it. So that's just a little plug for Woodmizer, my experience. I run all kinds of different equipment, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. This mill has served me very well. Most things I can figure out myself, but if you do need a hand, they're there for you. So I'm gonna get this all buttoned back up. I got logs to saw, but I figured I'd take you along and show you the other side of sawmilling, the maintenance side, which is never ending. So I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. See you next time.